All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for more Sakamoto days. Let's go ahead and see what happens after all the guns have basically been disabled. And Uzuki is resolving to kill Shin with his own hands. Let's go, shall we? Yo, peoples! Qushu92 here, and welcome back to more Sakamoto days. Like I said, in the last chapter, Shin and company were preparing they were preparing to, use Shin's telepathy to basically make every people unload their guns so that they couldn't use it. So they decide, you know what? One of the best places to go is probably the giant sky tower here in Japan, so that way we can hit everyone all at once. Uzuki, noticing that people are starting to unload their guns and casualties have started to decrease, he decides, you know what? Let me crash a fighter jet into the tower and then show up so I can take Shin on myself. And then when I try to kill him with my gun, at the same time, Natsuki was able to disable them because Uzuki flew a plane into the main network hub that allowed the guns to fire. So now Uzuki is resolving himself to killing Shin with his own hands. So let's see what happens in chapter 214, days 214, Lost Child. And now we're here with Amane, Totamaru, and Natsuki as he goes, for now, all those guns they distributed are useless junk. And then everyone is looking at their guns wondering what's happening because they can't fire them anymore. And a child is going, huh?
The gunshots have stopped.
Days 214, Lost Child. And then we get the old lady, the old medicine lady who helped Sakamoto earlier. She apparently used acupuncture to subdue everyone that was attempting to, shoot her.
Things sure quieted down, huh?
And then we have, what's-his-face? What's-his-face that is always with Lou or wants to bring Lou back in order to get back to the Triad. What's going on?
Did everyone run out of ammo?
And then someone goes on, then we have the news going,
this just in, the guns that were distributed as part of the legalization policy have been rendered unusable. Experts suspect that a hacking operation by an unknown party may be responsible.
And then it has then we see the posts that are trending online. Hacking, gun not working, jerks I want to blow away, gun won't shoot. And then we have Hannah going,
the streets are safe now. Maybe I should zip out and get groceries for dinner.
And then we have Uzuki who's looking at Shin going, you guys did this, didn't you?
Gee, I don't know. Are the guns jammed? What's going on? Maybe those guys pulled something off.
Thinking of Natsuki and everyone back at the JCC.
Back to the issue at hand.
And it shows Uzuki slashing his whip across towards Shin, who dodges it, while he destroys pretty much a giant portion of windows here on the Sky Tower. And he's very upset. And then, while he's standing there with his whip around him, he goes, I'll admit that you guys are a threat. I should have taken care of you at the Kanto branch.
Oh, really? Took you long enough to notice. Crap, I'm suddenly contending with the big boss. But I gotta do this.
And then it cuts to Nagumo, who goes, if you ever face off with X, it's crucial not to give off any bloodlust. You could activate Mr. Takamura's persona. Because Old Man Takamura's personality is activated when there's a ton of bloodlust in the air. And it shows Uzuki immediately slashing his whip at Shin, who dodges out of the way.
Okay, but Mr. Takamura aside, X himself is a formidable threat.
Then Shin looks next to him and sees, what is that? An ejection seat. An ejection seat next to him.
A seat from a fighter jet. It must have fallen with the rubble from above.
After the plane crashed into the tower. Then Uzuki goes to move in, but before, well, it's do or die. And as Uzuki speeds towards him to try and kill him, Shin sets off the seat. And they both go tumbling outside. They both go flying outside because they get launched by the propulsion of the ejector seat. He pulled the ejector seat? This brat reminds me more and more of Sakamoto. And while they're in the air, Shin is clashing with Uzuki while they're falling past all these windows. And one dude just sees them toppling outside. And then when Uzuki is preparing to bring his whip down on Shin again, they crash down into an aquarium below. They just crash directly into it. And they fall into the water. It's directly into an aquarium. And it just shows people seeing both of them in the water.
The aquarium? I'm saved. There are too many bystanders to fight here.
And then Shin looks over at another kid who's looking directly at him, outside of the window. And then Uzuki's looking around while he gets reminded of the memory of talking to Rion back then.
You ever been to an aquarium?
Nope. Why?
I've always wanted to go to one. Don't those big colorful tanks look like they'd be fun to see?
And then Uzuki is just floating in the water while he's looking out at the crowd. And he glances and he just seems to look and sees Rion out in the crowd, which is an impossibility. And then he just lightly lands on, my thing is, he's underwater and he just lightly lands in the water on the ground while Shin goes,
"What's going on? Why did he suddenly get so quiet?"
And then we see a shark pop up right behind Uzuki and looks like it's about to bare his fangs. Here's the thing, animals can show bloodlust as well. Everyone needs to run! Uh-oh. And then all of a sudden, the aquarium explodes because just as I predicted, the old man Sakamoto personality has awakened, sending a giant torrent of water onto the civilians while Uzuki's standing there, eyes widened over like Sakamoto with his sword by his side. And Shin gets washed out with the water as he goes,
"Forgot about that. Humans aren't the only ones who give off bloodlust."
And then Shin is coughing as we get Uzuki, who starts to step out of the water slowly. Then we get a doom doom.
"Thank you for visiting the aquarium today. A lost child has been reported."
As Uzuki is now fully in the Sakamoto personality, muttering to himself while that same shark is laying dead next to him. And that's the end of the chapter. We kind of breezed through this. One, but time to go! It's time to go! It's time to go! The Sakamoto personality is already up! It's time to go. It is time to go. Get out of the aquarium. Leave everything behind. You don't need to take it with you. You need to go. Get out before you die. Get out before you die. I thought Shin was being a bit too presumptuous when he thought it was saved. Look, Halster, the moment I saw that shark come up to him, because sharks have no sense of, I need to keep my bloodlust low. Sharks, animals, have no concept of self-restraint. Some animals do. When you get domesticated, some domesticated animals have a semblance of restraint. Sharks do not. They only know move and eat. That's all they know. So that shark showing up to try and attack Uzuki immediately prompted the Sakamoto personality. So now, Shin is face to face with Uzuki, who's currently under the Sakamoto personality right now. Honestly, Sakamoto's personality is feeling a bit boring now. It keeps showing up, but nothing really happens. Every single time that Sakamoto personality shows up, someone dies. or someone gets incredibly grievously injured in the fraction of a second. So I'm not going to say that nothing really happens, because that would be a lie. Because anytime that personality shows up, someone gets cut down in the most grievous way possible, or someone is put in a dire situation where they're going to need some outside intervention in order to save them. So every time the personality shows up, something happens. So I can't agree with that. But in this instance, there's civilians here, right? They'll probably have some bloodlust. Uzuki can sense, so they're in danger now too, because this personality doesn't care whether you're friend or foe. That's the thing. There are civilians around. And mind you, Uzuki already has a mindset, or innocent. Yeah, dude, Sakamoto does not care. He was seen as the most powerful assassin of his time, the strongest assassin of his time, the greatest assassin of his time, even over Sakamoto. So now we have that, where Uzuki already has no qualms about innocent civilians being killed. Now we got the Sakamoto personality that's just out there in the aquarium. Don't worry about going to the gift shop. Don't even worry about trying to see the walruses. Don't worry about trying to see the tangs. Don't worry about trying to see the clownfishes, the jellyfishes, anything at all. Don't worry about the sea turtles. Don't worry about them. You need to go. Because now Shin, despite how much power his ESP may have, his ability to see into the future, people fear Sakamoto for a reason. And though that man is gone, Uzuki perfectly replicated the personality, so it's as if Sakamoto never left, except it's just in a younger body. The Rion ghost was low-key my highlight of this chapter, especially seeing Rion standing there in the midst of the crowd. It was such a bittersweet moment. It's such a bittersweet moment, seeing her standing there smiling, looking at the aquarium. That was like, my heart! And then the shark had to ruin everything and awaken the most dangerous assassin within Uzuki, and now we got an entire tank just completely imploded. All because of a shark. Shark couldn't mind his own business, couldn't go somewhere else, you just had to awaken the most dangerous assassin in history. So it's all the shark's fault. The same way it was Star-Lord's fault that everyone got dusted in Infinity War, it is the shark's fault that the Sakamoto personality is about to run rampant right now. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this chapter except that think about the reflexes and quick thinking you need to have in order to survive in this world. I'm pretty sure none of us would survive in the world of Sakamoto. I'm sad Rion died. I mean, she's not completely gone until Uzuki dies. That's true, but it's just not the same. Because all Rion is inside of Uzuki is just a replication. It's not her. So it's just a replication, a sham, a copy. That's it. So it's sad that she's gone and her personality exists within an individual that would rather bring about a world that Rion would be completely against. It's sad that this personality of Rion exists in a body that would do the exact polar opposite of what Rion would do. So it's sad that Akira has to see this. Is it Akira or is it Akari? Rion Akari? Or is it Rion Akira? Hold on. Rion... Akira. Yeah, it is Akira. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So, while this chapter seemed a little bit short in terms of everything that happened in one instance, I will say this, though. The crisis of the guns going off. I've been wanting to see Gozu more, to be honest. His design is so cool. Gozu's the dude with the lightning claws, isn't he? Yeah, that's his name, Gozu. I was drawing a blank, Ducky. I was drawing a blank. I was drawing a blank on his name the last time I had a reaction, so apologies for that. But Gozu's design is really cool. This is bad because if I remember correctly, the only way Uzuki contained the Takamoto personality was the Rion personality taking over. And who's to say the Rion personality is going to be able to pop up and bring things under control again? So what we could be seeing is a rampant Takamura tearing through Japan, trying to kill Shin. So unless Rion pops up and stops him, we're looking at an unstoppable monster, where not even civilians are going to be safe. And if any of Uzuki's friends pop up, they're lambs to the slaughter as well. So that's where we're at with this. Takamura is back, and in the worst way, because now he's running off of the bloodlust of the shark, and Shin has to defend against that without using any bloodlust, because that's what Takamura is triggered by. So we went from a situation where Shin was left at the mercy of Uzuki, all the while trying to keep the bloodlust levels down so that the Takamura personality wouldn't take over. And now it's already taken over, so now Shin has to defend himself against the most powerful personality in all of assassin history. So I'm like, he needs a hero. Shin needs help. And out in the streets, there's lots of bloodlust with the rage of people having faulty guns. Oh no! I forgot about that! People are going to be angry, filled with bloodlust, and the sense to kill other people with their guns, because that feeling is not going to die down immediately. We already have people saying like, hey, someone hacked our guns don't work, I'm so angry, I want to kill someone, I'm filled with such bloodlust, which will draw Takamura. So civilians who have guns out there in the street, they are also susceptible to being targets for Takamura as well, because of the bloodlust that they harbor with all those guns. An entire nation of people that have been using these guns is essentially fuel for the Takamura personality to run wild. This is bad. We went from one crisis to another. We went from one crisis where people are using guns to gun each other down because they just been told it's okay for you to do. Now we're having a crisis where people, I can't say innocent because anyone who used a gun to kill a regular civilian for anything small or any reason at all just because they could, they're not innocent. But there's tons of people who have used these guns who still have bloodlust and a want to use those, still shoot someone, that are now going to be susceptible to being cut down by Takamura. So it's not just Shin that needs to be careful, it's literally every other person in Japan. Because Takamura does not care. Takamura cuts down where the bloodlust is. Doesn't matter if it's a friend or foe, as you said, Takamura cuts it. Without hesitation, without provocation, without explanation. That is what Takamura does. And we got a whole bunch of people who are going to be angry and filled with rage and bloodlust because their guns don't work. Yeah, Shin may have to keep him in the aquarium while getting people out. To keep everyone else safe. I'm not locked in here with you, you're locked in here with me, so you don't kill everyone who's locked outside while you're locked in here with me. We just went from one crisis to another. This is even worse than the guns, alright? You got a person that is capable of instantly killing anyone in front of him, or if not, grievously injuring anyone in front of him within a single fraction of a second. And now you got a nation of people that want to use their guns but can't, filled with bloodlust. So if we think, you know what I just thought of? I just thought of something, and it's because of you, Holster. Uzuki and the Takamura personality running off of bloodlust. If there was no bloodlust from the people out in the streets, then maybe there would have been a chance for the Takamura personality to die down. But with all the bloodlust from so many different people within the city, within the nation of Japan, the Takamura personality is probably going to be running off of that. Because now the Sakamoto personality, it's already killed. He's already killed the shark. But now the bloodlust of civilians is probably what's going to keep this personality going. I'm trying to think of it. I've seen something else where where you see the character, you think it's going to die down, and then all of a sudden, this whatever is imbuing this individual just continues to run with no. I'm trying to think. I'm not trying to use the Hulk as an example because. I'm not trying to use the Hulk as an example. There was another instance where someone was being filled up with so much power that they thought that the one instance of him being imbued. There's another example. And I've seen this before. I've seen it before. I'm trying to remember what it is because it would be a perfect analogy. Thank God for a Nagumo panel. Yeah, we would have gone a whole nother week without seeing Nagumo at all. But I'm grateful that Nagumo warned Shin to not go up, if you're going to go up against the Sakamoto personality, or at least if you're going to go up against Uzuki, don't have any bloodlust, otherwise Sakamoto would trigger. But I'm trying to think of a good example. It'll come to me later on. Yo, what's going on, CDs? Yeah, it's really bad. That's why I think the Rion personality isn't going to be able to take over, because compared to the last time where it was just X's group, so it could be taken over easier. Here, it's a whole country's worth of bloodlust. A whole country's worth of bloodlust that will keep the Sakamoto personality going for the foreseeable chapters. This is even worse than the civilians having the guns. Because at least, and I know this, and it may sound a bit morbid when I say this, at least when they use the guns, they can't use them anymore, and that's the end of that. Here, you got a whole nation where people are going to be mad and upset, and Japan isn't a small country. No! Now, I highly doubt that all the bloodlust of Japan is just going to be flooding towards Sakamoto and he'll go on forever from that, because Japan is a pretty big country. That's how powerful he is. CDs. Remember, Old Man Takamura is regarded as the most powerful and most deadly assassin ever. Well above Sakamoto. Sakamoto couldn't even beat him. Sakamoto was put on the defensive against Takamura before he met his end. Takamura is like, you know what? Let me just do this. Let me do this. All right? I love to look up stuff. I love to look up all sorts of things. So what I'm going to do is Takamura Sakamoto days. Let's just go down to his level of skill and power, just to give you a good sense of it. So, overall skill level. Takamura was considered to be the strongest assassin in the JAA and the raw power of the Order. To the point Slur had hoped he was dead during their attempt to take over the JAA. Even in his advanced age, he possessed incredible destructive power and speed. Sakamoto speculated that Takamura had grown stronger since the former's time in the JAA. So despite his age, Takamura became even stronger after the fact. As a testament to his strength, Slur speculated during their raid that Gaku may have been the only person to have survived a fight with Takamura despite being severely injured from his slashes. Currently, Takamura is the only person shown to have taken down Sakamoto, Nagumo, Uzuki, Gaku, and Haruma at the same time with relative ease. So then we go to his enhanced speed and reflexes, which is now at the mercy of Uzuki right now, Slur right now. Takamura was deceptively fast even when his eyes are closed. He could move faster than the average human eye can even see, even when he was walking slowly, and perceived to slash a lot of opponents before they can even conceive what was happening. Takamura's speed was shown to be superior to even his fellow peers like Sakamoto and Nagumo. He simultaneously cut Sakamoto and Nagumo without Sakamoto being able to see the attack until the slash happened. So, getting to his enhanced strength. Even in his old age, Takamura had incredible physical strength. On separate occasions, He was able to block attacks from Gaku with one hand and the other from Sakamoto, as well as slicing half of the museum simply by bracing his sheath against the floor. He can block a blow from Gaku's giant mace with his sheath sword without any visible effort or negative side effects. Sakamoto used his strength to swing his sword with a destructive force that extended far beyond the reach of his blade. His grip strength is strong enough to hold a JAA assassin in position by pinching their nose through a hole in the door, despite the assassin actively trying to break free. Then we cut to master swordsmanship, which Uzuki has also perfectly replicated. Takamura was a highly skilled master swordsman, being a supremely powerful user of Iai Jutsu, which is Iai techniques. He once decapitated a JAA assassin with enough swiftness and precision that they had enough time to see their severed head spinning in a mirror. He was capable of cutting through several physical structures during his attacks, including museum support columns, the support legs of the Tokyo Tower, vending machines, toilet cubicles, and various small buildings. Takamoto's cuts were so clean enough that severed limbs could be reattached to their owners and retain full functionality even after hours if minor surgery is given. I'm going to need some water after this. And lastly, Master Combatant. Takamoto was an unstoppable killing force in combat. He usually dispatched most of his enemies quickly, making most of his battles short-lived. But he was also able to hold his own in prolonged battles. Takamoto was highly adaptable and could quickly counter an opponent's moves to keep the advantage in his favor, doing this even against multiple skilled opponents and trade blows with little to no harm inflicted on himself relative to his opponents. He is skilled enough in battle to use a bullet shot at him as a means to sharpen his katana mid-fight. This is the capabilities of Takamura that are now at the disposal of Uzuki. So when you read that chapter that day, and I mentioned to you, so in order to find his weakness, they'll have to dig into his prime days or days when he started becoming the strongest, and he had to face someone he couldn't defeat. That's when they'll find his weakness and use it as their advantage. But here's the thing. No one has beaten him. It's not a matter of finding a weakness. He doesn't have one. The only counter to Takamura is to fight him without any bloodlust, because that's what he's drawn to. That's not a weakness, however, since most opponents fight him with bloodlust in them. And even without bloodlust, he's still a formidable foe. So it's not even a matter of he has a weakness. You just simply need to survive. But it feels like family is here. All I can say about this chapter was this was a very good chapter. Family is here with food, so I want to go down and help them, so I don't want to leave you guys just sitting here waiting for me. This was a wonderful chapter. This was a wonderful chapter, but now I'm scared for what the implications of a Takamura Uzuki running rampant is going to mean for the story of Sakamoto Days. We may cut away from this, we may continue, but the Takamura personality is here, and I fear for every single person involved. But overall, good chapter. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So and because I know you're coming back anyway. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples.